Welcome back. Now finally some respite for Tamil Nadu government on the Mullai Periyar Dam issue. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear Tamil Nadu's petition seeking to recall the interim order of appointing a 5-member panel to look into the safety of the Mullai Periyar Dam. Senior counsel K. Parasuran, appearing on behalf of Tamil Nadu, mentioned before a bench headed by Justice D.K. Jain about the state's application and sought early listing. On February 18, the Supreme Court appointed a 5-member committee headed by former Chief Justice of India A.S. Anand, which was asked to submit its report in 6 months after considering all aspects, including Kerala's demand for a new dam as well as the safety of the existing Mullai Periyar Dam. Last month, the DMK's General Council meeting adopted a resolution to boycott the 5-member panel appointed by the Supreme Court. Nearly 3,000 fake medicines have been seized in Kadalur district. Valliyappan, who runs a wholesale medicine agency, has allegedly been getting fake medicines manufactured in Andhra Pradesh. The drug control director was stripped off and raid was conducted late last night and the fake medicines seized. Some of these medicines include commonly consumed cough syrups like Benadryl. 4 people travelling in a bus were killed when it rammed into a truck near Kuvattur in Kanchipuram district today. The dead were identified as 3 women and a man. 13 people who were injured in the accident have been treated at a hospital in Kuvattur. They were a part of a group of people travelling from Chennai to Nagapattinam to attend a wedding. The accident happened shortly before daybreak. Environmental activists are stepping up pressure on the government after Hindustan Unilever's cleanup of the environment in Kodaikanal has been found to be substandard. The company admits its thermometer factory there emits tons of highly toxic mercury.
Even as economic blockades and water wars grab media attention, unbridled deforestation, illegal mining and callous attitude towards the environment are causing rivers to dry up. Closer home, a substandard cleanup of mercury contamination caused by Hindustan Unilever, which makes thermometers at Kodaikanal, is destroying the Pamba River and the Shola forest in the area. Now, green activists have written to the Environment Minister asking him to look into the matter.
Mercury is such a deadly poison, and the sholas all produce water. Streams originate from the sholas, and these carry the contaminants into the river systems, and then they are consumed by people far, far away who are not even aware of this problem in this area.
It's a last-ditch effort to protect this biodiversity hotspot. Environmentalists say HUL's proposed cleanup will not do much to protect the environment or the people.
In Britain, the standard is, the permissible limit is 1 milligram per kilogram of soil. Whereas here, they've agreed and they're aiming for a cleanup at 25 milligram per kilogram of soil. I mean, it's too far apart. I mean, in what way is Indian life much cheaper than British life?
That's the question the residents of Kodaikanal are also asking. The pollution has severely impacted the health of the people living there. And the residents are up in arms against the attitude of the authorities. They say that even as HUL markets water purifiers, it is contaminating water naturally available in their area.
Environmentalists say mercury poisoning is a ticking time bomb, and the campaign to clean up the Kodaikanal site has been on for more than 8 years now. The government needs to take notice of the public outcry and redress grievances. In Chennai, with camera person Sagaraj, Nithila, Ndtv-Hindu.
Now, leading agricultural scientists in Chennai have come down heavily on the government for failing to prevent the unwarranted import of dangerous food grains to India. This comes a day after Ndtv-Hindu showed tons of infected wheat from Australia quarantined at the port in Chennai. Scientists have warned that cargo like the one you see on your screens can pose serious health hazards, including accelerating the chance of a stray virus or wheat running amok across the length and breadth of the country.
Rules are also a little lag. We have to be very strict, particularly in the importing of food grains, because nowadays after the globalization, various part of the geographically various people and various part of the world is sending many fruits, flowers, vegetables, grains, all these things. So rules should be very strict.
Moving on, Chennai, they say, is the diabetic capital of the country. Doesn't shock you anymore? Well, beat this. Many of those who are diabetic are those who have just crossed the age of 20. And perhaps the best way to escape the disease is to leave the lethargic lifestyle behind and work it out.
From 40 to 50 years, the average age of turning diabetic has seen a drastic fall to an average age of 20 to 30. Type 1 diabetes, notoriously known as juvenile diabetes, has crept into the system of little children aged even 5. Doctors say the youth of today are most vulnerable to diabetes, the silent killer.
Now imagine somebody getting diabetes at 50. It takes 20 years to get complications. Only after 70 you need to worry about complications. What if you get it when you're 15? By the time you're 30 years old or 35 years old, you're at risk of developing kidney failure and going for dialysis or transplantation or bypass surgery or going blind and so on. If that happened to our youth, and it's increasingly happening now, and unless we watch it now, in the next 20 or 30 years, our youth are going to get affected.
With the kind of lifestyle we lead nowadays, we'll have to think twice before we indulge in our favorite food item. And with diseases like diabetes on the rise, keeping a tab on what you eat and how much is as important for children as for the adults.
The symptoms are, thirst, excessive thirst, passing more urine, wounds which don't heal, feeling excessively tired, losing weight, boils which come in the body, burning sensation of the feet, as if you're walking on cotton wool. These are all the symptoms of diabetes. But 50% of people with diabetes don't have any symptoms at all.
Although doctors say there is no cure to this disease, it can be brought to a reverse effect under a proper diet and exercise. In Chennai, with camera person Kasi, Evelyn Matthew for Ndtv-Hindu.
For more on that, earlier we were joined by Dr. V. Mohan. He runs the Dr. Mohan's Diabetes Specialty Center.
I think Chennai and Hyderabad have the dubious distinction of having the highest prevalence rates of diabetes. The study where all the cities were studied together is about 9 years old. At that time, about 14% of people in Chennai and 16% of people in Hyderabad had diabetes. More recently, we don't have the figures for Hyderabad, but in Chennai it is coming almost up to 20%. It's about 19% of the Chennai adult population having diabetes. So yes, South India in fact has the highest prevalence of diabetes in India. And India itself, is the diabetic capital of the world because we have the largest number of people with diabetes in the world. So these are really alarming figures.
Well, a proper diet and a regular exercise, that's what perhaps all of us need. Now, IPL has some solid competition from the film industry. For more on what's up on the silver screen, stay with us.